Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Kati and today I'm trying something new, so I'm making a voiceover, and in the video you see my hands talking because I did the original video like I always do, so filmed and talked in real time, but the voice wasn't okay, so I decided to make a voiceover. So today we are going to make my health journal May setup, and I'm showing you here my April spread, how it did go. And here I'm showing you the changes that I have planned, and this is like a very messy note paper, and you will see in the video that I even didn't know how to read that what I had planned for my spread, so that will be a problem in the future in this video. But let's go and start making the spreads. I already have the gratitude spread ready for May because it's so easy to do, because I just write the numbers and then I start tracking my gratitude. So that's so simple that I did that in few minutes on the 1st of May. So let's start making my layout, and we need some stencils, and I have my stencils in this just a photo album, a cheap one, and that beautiful postcard in the beginning is from Nuna when I was making an order from them in Germany. So I just love that. So here are my stencils, and now I just took the ones with numbers and letters, and I use my Hobonichi. No, that's not a Hobonichi. I use my normal jet stream for writing with the stencils, and now I'm just trying to make sure what stencil I used when I was making those numbers the last time, and the answer is I used the Hobonichi stencil. And I have in the Jetstream pen the exact same refill as in the Hobonichi pen, so that's why I was calling it the Hobonichi pen. So now I'm thinking how I did the numbers the last time. I'm trying to aim the numbers on the grid line so that I would get them straight. And here I'm putting a paper behind so that I wouldn't get indentations on the other side so much. But here, because I want to get the numbers straight, I'm aiming that the numbers at the end of the line are like on the line of the grid. So because when I'm making the number there on front, I don't have anything where to aim it, so I would get it straight. And actually, if you have these Japanese stencils, or you know the story behind why they make that number 8 like that, so it's like in 2 parts, I would love to hear what's the story behind that. So if you know, please tell me, because I was trying to Google that, but I didn't find anything why it is made like that. Now here I'm pointing it out to you. And then here, when I'm making these numbers, I always try to be very careful that I don't let the flow go and just make wrong numbers. And here I did actually make a mistake, because I don't like to use that ready-made 10, because I think the number 1 is too far away from the 0. So as you can see in the 11, they are more closely. So now I'm fixing that, because I don't like that. And if I make a mistake, I like to use my Uniposca white marker, because I think that's so convenient and I use it a lot more than I would like to, so I make a lot of mistakes. Here you can see that I first make the second number because that way it's like easier to stay in the flow. Now my pen stopped working and you can see that I run out of ink. Luckily I had my Hobonichi Jetstream close by. I used that one with my food log, and I do have refills for my Jetstream, but I have them inside my table, so I can't reach them while I'm filming, but luckily I have the same refill in that Hobonichi pen, so I can keep stenciling. Now we are reaching a point that I should be careful again, but I'm not. So I'm making a mistake again and writing 11 and I'm like, yeah. So we reach for the Posca pen again and fix it and then continue. And I like to use 2 layers usually, so that's enough so that nothing shadows through. And of course I also could just write these numbers as I do in my gratitude journal, so with freehand, but somehow now I'm just taking the time to make this because I don't have any journal now other than my written journal, so I don't get to use these stencils on a daily or even on a weekly basis. So this time when I'm making this health journal setup is now the only time when I get to use my stencils. So I don't know, let's see if I'm making this again in June, but at least for now I'm taking the time to make this spread. And my original filming took little less than 1 hour, so it takes time, but it's not like so much that I wouldn't have the time to do it. And here you can see that I'm trying to aim the ones in the same row, so that way it looks like cleaner, but it's not so easy because the numbers are not the same size. So that is the reason why I don't like to use the ready-made 10 and 11 and 12, because then I don't get them in the same clean row. And here you can see that I'm in the flow again, and that is when I start making mistakes. So I made my second 10 there, and it's time to grab my uni Posca marker again. And then I decided that I will let the Posca marker dry a bit and I will start with the end, so I'm not going to hopefully make mistakes anymore. So just 2 trees and then I can have a 2 row. And of course this takes less time when not filming at the same time and talking and trying to do like many things at the same time. So I could, if I would do this without filming, I could watch a nice YouTube video or like have it on the background and just have a nice relaxing moment. As I tried here also, so I had the candle because I have been very like stressed out and not feeling so well on a mental level, so I just needed that candle to calm me down and like just to give me strength that I can do this. Now I changed to my paper poetry stencil to write the month and the year, and this is so much easier to use than the yellow Hobonichi stencil because this has the grid, so I can line it vertically and horizontally, and of course I love that, so I don't have to ponder that I would get the letters and numbers straight. And this is of course the reason why I love these stencils that you can see through, because otherwise I don't understand how I could manage a stencil made of metal when I don't see it through. I don't have any grit. I can't line up what I'm stenciling like in any way, and I don't see what's underneath. So I love these. And then my third criteria for a good stencil is that it can't be too thick, because if it's too thick, you need to have a pen with a very long tip. Then you can't use any pen you want. So no, that doesn't work. Now I'm ready to start writing my trackers, and I use my Platinum Preppy EF fountain pen, so the extra fine nib with a black carbon ink. Here you can see my April spread, and I'm doing some changes because here I had like 2 rows for one thing, and I don't think that works so well, because maybe it's just better to have all the stats in one row. I was trying to make it like a graph, but if I only have like 2 grids for one thing, so it's not such, it like looks more messy than clean what I was aiming for. So I'm just putting it in a one straight line, as you can see on the right side where I have my sugar intake, which is one line. So I'm putting my other stats also now in one line to make it simpler and clearer, and that is usually the mistake I made. So I put the yellow or red dot in the same line, and then I had to correct it. So it's easier for me if I just have everything in the one line, so then I will make also less mistakes and use my Uni Posca marker less in May. One reason why I'm changing what I'm tracking is that I have now the Fitbit Premium subscription, because I got it free for 6 months with a new Fitbit, but I think I'm not going to start paying for it. So the trial ends in May, and then I have less stats to see in my Fitbit app, so I need to change what I'm tracking, because I don't get the stats that I have been tracking now, or at least I think so. I will see it when the subscription ends, what stats I get and what I don't get. And here I soon realized that I have made a huge mistake. So I couldn't read my own notes. So maybe if I would have done my setup right away after making my plan for the setup, so then I would have maybe remembered that one black line meant that don't leave any empty spaces. But yeah, so my advice, if you want to make your setup without many errors, so plan better. And sometimes if it's important, I do write like cleaner notes. So I plan and then I make a new plan. So it's like really what I'm trying to do. But now I was just lazy, because this is just my health journal setup, so I don't feel like it's so important. But maybe next time, if I make bigger changes to the plan, I maybe could write some better notes to remember where to leave empty spaces and where not. So I just have to take my Posca marker again in use and cover almost everything up and let it dry and skip to the other page now. Luckily here on the other side I'm not making any huge changes, but this first one is actually a new habit, and I will link the video here and below where I got it from. So I watched an interview of Mel Robbins and her new book, which is about the high five habit. Well, that is a very long video, it's over 2 hours, and I haven't watched it completely yet, but I got enough so that I learned about the new habit, and it sounded so simple and silly, which I like, So I just had to try it because I haven't felt so good in April, so I just wanted to try this if it really helps. And it's just that you in the morning you high five yourself in the mirror, and that's supposed to help you with your mental health and well-being. And I have tried it now for a week, and I will continue because, well, it takes just a few seconds, and what I like about that habit is that you don't have to say anything. You just high five yourself in the mirror, and I do recommend that interview. It's interesting. I haven't watched it completely because it's so long, but I'm so curious. So if somebody suggests a very simple and easy habit which really takes just a few seconds a day, I will try it if it helps me. So why not? Then I write my other habits that I also had in April. So my morning pages, yoga, tarot, morning journaling, and it depends if the word is shorter in English or Finnish. I usually use the shorter word. That's why I write mixed English and Finnish. And actually my previous video was about my morning routine, so what I do planning and journaling wise in the morning, so I will link the morning routine video here also. Then I have my habit of, if I go outside, if I'm taking a walk, and then if I do some exercise other than yoga. After physical health, I track my social health. So if I have spent time with my spouse, if I have been social, and if I have checked my inbox. I just write inbox 0, but for me it means that I at least use 2 minutes to empty my inbox. And now I'm thinking about my new habit. So I was thinking about a self-care habit, but because I think most of these things are already about self-care, so if I have a, so to say, self-care habit, it's like, what does it mean? Then I have also written here, Feel the Well, which was or is like a exercise in the HB90 method. So what are things that you could do to feel your own well, so you have again energy to be creative? So I'm like thinking now like combining these, so calling it self-care, but having underneath a list about things that I mean are self-care in this sense. So I had in April, I had a habit of meditation, but I did it only like 2 times, as you see here. But I think that would be an excellent habit. But maybe what I think now is that I put the habit and call it self-care, and there underneath meditation is one option of the self-care habits that I can do. So I have to make myself a list about what I mean about these self-care things. And now I have only the meditation habit underneath there. And then I continue with my other habits, so my sugar intake. Then I'm adding a new habit, or not a new habit, but what I want to track. So I'm tracking my water intake also here. I do it in my food log, but I think if I write the whole liters here, it will be again something that I see more clearly where I'm going. Then I have oil pulling, my evening journaling, my evening planning, Dear, which comes from Marie Forleo, so it means drop everything and read, and then the new habit, self-care. And after that, it's finally time to fill my tracker from the 2 days that have passed. So I'm reading my notes and putting the check marks there, what I have done, what didn't I do. So it's mostly check marks. Then I write my kilometers that I have walked, my water intake I have to check later from my food log, and then I have my sugar intake with those dots. And I decided that I haven't done any self-care activities on the first 2 days. And then it's finally time to finish what we started. So I'm a bit struggling here because that page is a mess now, but in the end I managed to write there everything that I wanted. So I have first my sleep tracking, so zone out, sleep, wake up, and my sleep score. Then I'm tracking pain, my mood, my productivity. Then I track my steps, which I get from my Fitbit app, and then my zone minutes, also from the app. And then what's new for May, I want to write my resting heart rate. Last month I tracked my sleeping heart rate, but I'm now getting mentally ready for that. I'm not getting that information if I'm not paying for the premium version of the app. And then I'm filling the rest of my tracker. So I have a color code here with 4 colors. Blue is the best, green is good, yellow is done not so good, and red is bad. It's just for my personal uses, so I will easy and quickly see where I'm going in my health. This is also new that I'm now tracking my productivity. So I don't know, I think it's always tricky to track things that are not like so clear, but I just want to see if it has something to do how well I have slept, so how productive I am in the day. And now I have my setup finally ready. I'm curious to see how May will go, if these new things like motivate me better to take care of my health. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and I would be also very happy to hear how you enjoyed this voiceover, or did you? If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I hope to see you down below in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. See you next week. Bye bye.